would consider 50 fighter jets a significant air force. The United States keeps that many at a single training base and calls it Tuesday. 5 American installations currently concentrate more combat aircraft than entire national militaries possess. The numbers are real. The strategic implications are enormous. Here is every one of them ranked, starting at number 5, with a base that trains every single Strike Eagle crew in the American military, while simultaneously running combat deployments on the other side of the world. Base 5, Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in Goldsboro, North Carolina, operates 94 F-15E Strike Eagles and runs 2 completely separate missions from the same runway simultaneously. The first mission is combat deployment. 2 of the base's fighter squadrons, the 335th and 336th, are fully combat-ready operational units capable of putting aircraft and pilots anywhere in the world on extremely short notice. The second mission is the entire American F-15E pilot pipeline. Every Strike Eagle pilot and weapons systems officer in the United States Air Force goes through Seymour Johnson at some point in their career without exception. Running both a combat-ready deployment wing and the service's sole Strike Eagle training program from the same installation generates an operational tempo that most bases never approach. Over 12,000 individual sorties per year. More than 21,000 flight hours of combined training and combat readiness operations annually. The unit based here is the 4th Fighter Wing, one of the most historically significant combat organizations in American aviation. Its lineage traces directly to the Eagle squadrons of the Royal Air Force, American volunteers who flew against Nazi Germany before the United States formally entered the Second World War. That history is not decorative. It shapes how every pilot assigned here understands the weight of what they are doing. During Operation Desert Storm, the 336th Fighter Squadron flew more than 1,000 combat missions and delivered in excess of 6 million pounds of ordnance against Iraqi targets. Scud missile sites, airfield infrastructure, command facilities, bridges. The capability that produced that record in 1991 is exactly what the squadrons here maintain and refine every single day. One historical footnote worth knowing. Seymour Johnson is the only Air Force installation in the United States named after a Navy officer. Lieutenant Seymour A. Johnson was a naval aviator from Goldsboro killed in a training accident in 1941. The cross-service recognition embedded in the name of the base says something genuine about how the American military honors its people regardless of which branch they served. At number 4, the first base in the country to receive the F-35A, and in January 2020, it put 52 of them in the air simultaneously to prove exactly what that meant. Base 4, Hill Air Force Base. Hill Air Force Base sits south of Ogden in northern Utah and holds a distinction no other installation can claim. It was the first operational base anywhere in the United States Air Force to receive the F-35A Lightning II when the first combat-coded jets arrived in September 2015. Today, Hill operates 78 F-35A fighters split between the 388th Fighter Wing, an active duty unit, and the 419th Fighter Wing, a reserve unit. That active and reserve partnership is one of the most genuinely integrated in the entire Air Force. Both wings train to identical standards, deploy on identical schedules, and are evaluated against identical readiness criteria. From the outside, there is no visible distinction between them. That seamless integration is the product of years of deliberate effort, and it functions exactly as intended. In January 2020, Hill staged a combat power exercise that drew attention across the entire defense community. In rapid succession, the base launched 52 F-35A fighters simultaneously, one after another, in a continuous stream of departing stealth aircraft. The exercise was designed to simulate the opening surge of a major conflict, demonstrating how quickly the base could put a large number of advanced aircraft airborne in minimum time. 52 fifth-generation stealth fighters airborne at the same time from a single installation. That number exceeds the total fifth-generation fighter inventory of the overwhelming majority of countries on Earth. The Utah Test and Training Range gives Hill's pilots access to one of the few live fire training environments in the United States. Real weapons against real targets on a dedicated range. The base is named for Major Ployer Peter Hill, a test pilot who died in 1935 evaluating the prototype of what eventually became the B-17 Flying Fortress. The installation bearing his name continues 90 years later to sit at the leading edge of American aviation capability. Base 3, Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Anchorage, Alaska is home to approximately 48 F-22 Raptors organized into 2 complete combat squadrons. The F-22 entered service in 2005 as the world's first operational fifth-generation fighter. Nearly 2 decades later, no aircraft produced by any nation has definitively matched its combination of stealth, sustained supercruise speed, extreme maneuverability, and integrated sensor capability. It was built specifically to defeat the most capable adversary aircraft that could be anticipated at the time of its design, and the threat environment has evolved in ways that validate rather than diminish that requirement. The 2 squadrons operating from Elmendorf-Richardson are the 90th and 525th Fighter Squadrons, both part of the 3rd Wing. The 90th Fighter Squadron carries a lineage extending back to aerial combat over the Western Front in World War I, with continuous service across virtually every major conflict the United States has been involved in since. Russia is not a theoretical adversary at this location. Russian military aircraft probe Alaskan airspace on a regular and routine basis. Every single intercept is handled by F-22s from this base. In 2023, that mission became public when Elmendorf-Richardson's F-22s shot down a high-altitude object that had entered Alaskan airspace, demonstrating exactly what rapid identification, rapid response, and precise execution look like in practice. Alaska's geography gives this installation a strategic reach that is genuinely difficult to overstate. From Anchorage, F-22s can access the entire Northern Hemisphere within hours. The operating environment is unlike anything pilots face at other bases. Winter temperatures drop to 40 below zero. Training operations continue through complete polar darkness. Blizzard conditions that would ground aircraft elsewhere are treated here as standard operating environment. The pilots who emerge from that training are qualified to operate in conditions that would paralyze less experienced aviators entirely. The base was formed in 2010 by merging Elmendorf Air Force Base and Fort Richardson into a joint installation. The Army's 11th Airborne Division provides the ground combat component. The 3rd Wing provides the air power. Together they form one of the most capable combined arms installations anywhere in the American military. Base 2, Nellis Air Force Base. Nellis Air Force Base northwest of Las Vegas, Nevada, operates approximately 182 assigned aircraft spanning 5 different combat platforms simultaneously. A-10 Thunderbolts, F-15 Eagles, F-16 Fighting Falcons, F-22 Raptors, and F-35 Lightning IIs, all operating from a single installation. That diversity of aircraft types makes Nellis unlike anywhere else in the service. The physical footprint reflects the scale of the mission. The base covers approximately 5,000 square miles on the ground. Above it, the Nevada Test and Training Range extends across an additional 7,700 square miles of protected, unrestricted airspace, the largest dedicated military training range in the United States. 36 squadrons operate from Nellis, supported by 12 separate sub-installations across the range complex. At the center of Nellis's importance is the Air Force Weapons School, the service's equivalent of the Navy's Top Gun program, and by most assessments, the most demanding advanced tactical training course in the world. Selection to attend is highly competitive. Only the strongest performers from their respective aircraft communities are chosen. The course runs for 6 months of advanced academics, demanding flight evaluations, and increasingly complex tactical scenarios designed to push selected pilots past what they previously believed were their limits. Graduates return to their home units as certified tactical experts responsible for multiplying the capability of every pilot around them. Red flag exercises are the other defining event at Nellis. These large force employment exercises bring together units from across the entire United States military and allied nations to fight simulated wars against one another using the most realistic combat training environment the Air Force can construct. Electronic warfare, surface-to-air threat systems, dedicated aggressor aircraft replicating enemy tactics, every element of a modern air campaign replicated as faithfully as technology and safety permit. Pilots who have flown both red flag and actual combat operations consistently report that the Nellis training environment prepares them more comprehensively for real combat than any other experience in their careers. The Nevada climate adds a practical operational advantage. Clear skies the overwhelming majority of days each year means pilots accumulate flight hours at a pace that installations in less favorable climates simply cannot match. Finally, at number 1. The base with more fighter jets than any other installation in the United States Air Force. 150 aircraft. Every F-35A pilot in American service trained here. And it just completed a generational transition that no base has ever done at this scale before. Base 1 Luke Air Force Base. Luke Air Force Base west of Phoenix in Glendale, Arizona, operates approximately 150 fighter aircraft and holds the title of the largest fighter wing in the entire United States Air Force. The 56th Fighter Wing runs a mission that sustains the whole enterprise of American tactical aviation. Every F-35A pilot who enters United States Air Force service trains at Luke. More than 1,500 graduates have completed the program, and the number grows continuously. International partners who have purchased F-35s through foreign military sales send their pilots to Luke as well. The base simultaneously trains aviators from multiple countries, building the interoperability between American and Allied air forces that coalition operations depend on at the most fundamental level. The infrastructure being built to support this mission reflects its intended permanent scale. Luke is installing 32 full-motion flight simulators, a number that exceeds the simulation capacity of any other F-35 training installation anywhere in the world. Pilots will rehearse complex multi-aircraft tactical scenarios, refine techniques, and learn from mistakes in an environment where errors are educational rather than fatal before they ever apply those lessons in an actual aircraft. The early months of 2025 marked a generational transition at Luke. The final F-16 missions flown by United States Air Force pilots concluded here, ending an era and completing the base's conversion to an F-35-focused operation. The 425th Fighter Squadron still operates F-16s at Luke, but those aircraft belong to the Republic of Singapore Air Force, whose pilots also train at the installation. The international dimension of Luke's mission is embedded in its daily operations, not an addition to them. The base was established in 1940 as a wartime pilot training center and named for First Lieutenant Frank Luke Jr., an Arizona native, Medal of Honor recipient, and one of the most remarkable combat pilots of the First World War. Frank Luke earned the nickname the Arizona Balloon Buster by destroying 14 German observation balloons and 4 aircraft in 17 days of combat before being killed in action at the age of 21. The base named for him has been producing America's fighter pilots for over 80 years and is now producing the pilots who will define American air power for the next generation. 5 bases. Over 550 fighter jets concentrated at just these locations. More firepower than most nations possess across their entire military. Strike Eagles running combat deployments and training pipelines simultaneously in North Carolina. The first F-35 operational base surging 52 stealth fighters in minutes in Utah. F-22s intercepting real threats in 40 below zero darkness in Alaska. The world's most demanding tactical school forging tomorrow's combat pilots in Nevada. And the largest fighter wing in the Air Force, producing every F-35 pilot America will ever field in Arizona. This is what air dominance actually looks like from the inside. Drop a comment telling us which base surprised you most. Subscribe, because the full picture of American military capability is more extraordinary than most people ever get to see.